More studios checking in, and you know we in the studio manifesting our own reality. There's a difference between being alone and lonely. Most of us confuse the two or use those two words interchangeably when they're far from the same. You see, when you're alone, you're content, happy, and satisfied with your own company. When you're lonely, you're by yourself, yearning for company, wishing you weren't by yourself, wishing you weren't in solitude. As the great Rolf Smart said, you could only be lonely if you abandon yourself. And those words hit home. So me being an introvert, me being a person that gets their energy when they're by themselves, I never feel lonely because I'm satisfied with my own company. I love being alone because that's when I learn the most about myself. That's when I learn who I truly am and what I truly want. Those of us who don't spend much time by ourselves in our solitude, we're always chasing some form of mental stimulation. And it may not be an intellectual stimulation. It could just be a stimulation of just interacting with another human person. And when we run away from ourselves, when we don't tap into the true person of who we are, this is when the feeling of loneliness kicks in. See, you're lonely because you're not satisfied, content with your own company. This is more of a problem with extroverted people, people who need that social interaction to live. That's their recharge. You gain your energy from talking to others, but what I find in my extroverted friends, they don't know how to do things by their own. They don't know how to do things by themselves. They could have their favorite musician come to the town, but just because their friends don't go with them, they will miss out on seeing their favorite musician. And it's funny because me being an introvert, I go to social events and concerts by myself all the time. We have to get out of this concept of introvert, extrovert, introverts are shy, extrovert need to talk all the time, when we're a balance of both. There's a spectrum. It's just not so black and white. And what I realized, how I could go into any place, any country, go on a plane by myself, go to musical concerts by myself, is because I enjoy alone time. I value the time I have with myself because I love myself. And I know how to have a good time by being by myself. I'll never be lonely because I love being alone. So if you're a person that's lonely, chances are you abandoned yourself. You gave your last ex, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, your all. And since you weren't focused on yourself and you were focused on that other person, you don't know what it's like to be alone. This is where loneliness comes in. To really appreciate and to really be in the moment of being alone, you could develop hobbies, you could develop a certain skill set, and you could develop just a peace of mind to help you cope with the feelings of being alone. In my alone time, I like to meditate. I like to reflect on what happened during the day. And I just like being more in tune with myself. And once I'm in tune with myself, it makes relationship with others more easier. So if you master the art of being alone, you'll never be lonely. And loneliness is not just by you being by yourself. Although I said that earlier at the start of this video. You could be around 20 other people and still feel lonely in the same room. I'll say that's the worst kind of loneliness. When you're around others, but you still feel lonely. That is the worst kind of loneliness. You could be around others and still feel lonely because it's almost as if you're putting up a facade to be with other people. It's almost as if you're running away from yourself for whatever reason. And you being in this space with people is a distraction from whatever you're trying to run away from. During this time of, I don't want the C word, the corona, the quarantine, we are forced to isolate ourselves. We are forced to be alone. Some people loved it. Some people hate it. Some people wish for another one. Some people wish it would never happen. There's always some sort of balance in this universe. And it's up to us to find that middle ground and become one. I'll say this is a powerful time for you to do whatever you want to do, because greatness and excellence comes from times in turmoil. It's in these times of turmoil where excellence is breeded. Disney World was breeded during the Great Depression. A lot of things happen during sad times. So don't look at what the media is telling you. Don't look what your phone is telling you, how people are lonely, XYZ. There are a lot of people who are alone that's working on something. Like myself, I started this YouTube channel during these times, and I'm just bringing you the vibrations through these times so you can receive them as well. You have to master the art of being alone. And once you master the art of being alone, you'll never become lonely. To master the art of being alone, you have to fully know yourself, know what you want out of life, and then proceed in that direction. You'll never yearn for someone to stimulate you as much as you do now, because you have more knowledge of self and you are your own best friend. Nobody knows you better than yourself. Nobody can motivate you more than yourself. I get that we may have down days and days where we want to pick her up, and that's okay. Nobody's perfect. But in case times like this happen again and we're forced to isolate, it won't affect you as much. It won't affect you as much because you're not abandoning yourself. You could only feel lonely once you abandon yourself. Love yourself more, know thyself more, and watch how much you accomplish. It's funny how life works. Life is one great paradox. Once you master the art of being alone, you'll have more friends than you could imagine, because people see this energy and they want to know what's up with you. There's something about him. So don't give into the hoopla of like, you're gonna die alone, XYZ. No. You could live any life you want on your own terms, especially once you practice self-mastery, self-discipline. This self-discipline leads to self-mastery. And once you have mastery of thyself, you could conquer the whole world. And I'm gonna leave you guys on that note. More studios checking out. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, comment, subscribe. And look in the bio for The Caged Bird Still Flies. My book is out now on Amazon. May help you along your journey. And again, until next time, you guys be well. 1.